Welcome to episode 175 of Gods and Heroes of Ancient Greece. My name is MyLinda Butterworth, and today we continue with part 2 of Echo and Narcissus. Narcissus was so good looking that people were constantly falling in love with him at first sight. He was tall and naturally strong, and his curly hair was cut in such a way that it framed his elegant face. Having never seen himself, however, Narcissus had no idea how handsome he was, and he never understood why he received so much attention from those around him. In fact, that very day he had come into the forest trying to get away from all the people who had been gawking at him. Suddenly, Narcissus heard a rustling in the leaves behind him. He did not know that Echo had been following him, and that she longed to make her passion known to him, to plead in soft entreaty, to implore love. But all she could do was hide nearby and wait for the moment when his voice would give her the chance to respond. Presently the youth, by chance divided from his trusted friends, cried, "Who's here?" In reply, Echo replied, "Here." Amazed, he cast his eyes round and calls with a louder voice, "Come here! Come here!" She replied back. He turns to see who calls him, and not seeing anyone, exclaims, "Avoid me not! Avoid me not!" She returns. He tries again, and is deceived by this alternate voice, and calls aloud, "Oh, let us come together!" Echo cries, "Oh, let us come together!" Never did a sound seem sweeter to the nymph, and from the woods she ran toward Narcissus to wrap her arms around his neck. Startled and alarmed, he flies from her, and he leaves. He says to her, "Take your hands off of me. Do not embrace me in your arms. Death would be better than to ever have someone like you caress me." "Caress me," was all Echo could say back. Scorned, embarrassed, and completely alone, she hides in the deep woods, hiding her blushing face with the green leaves, and forever after, lives concealed in lonely caverns in the hills. But her great love increases with neglect. Her miserable body wastes away. Wakeful with sorrows, leanness shrivels up her skin, and all her lovely features melt, as if dissolved under the wafting winds. Nothing remains except her bones and voice. Her voice continues in the wilderness. Her bones have turned to stone. She lies concealed in the wild woods. She is never seen on lonely mountain ranges, for though we hear her calling in the hills, it is but a voice that lives among the hills, is just an echo of who she was. Nemesis, the goddess who punished evil deeds, saw what happened between Echo and Narcissus, and how it led to Echo's lonely death, and heard the prayer of one he had slighted say, "If he shall fall in love, deny him of what he loves." Nemesis heard the plea, and as she was greatly displeased with the arrogant youth, she cursed him to fall madly in love with his own reflection. Now there was a silver clear and bright fountain where no shepherds, wild she-goats, cattle, birds, or even falling leaves had touched. The waters were undisturbed. There, sweet green grasses nourished by the stream. Trees shaded it from the sun and let the balmy airs temper its waters. Narcissus stops to enjoy the peaceful solitude in the glassy spring. As he stoops to quench his thirst, another thirst increases. While he was drinking, he saw himself reflected in the mirrored pool, and loves what he sees, for he believes the mirrored shade a thing of life to love. He could not move as he marvels at himself, and lies there unchanged, as if indeed a statue carved of Parian marble. Lying prone on the bank, his gaze is fixed on his own eyes, twin stars, his fingers shaped as Bacchus might desire, his flowing hair as glorious as Apollo's, and his cheeks youthful and smooth, his ivory neck, his mouth dreaming in sweetness, his complexion fair, and blushing as the rose in snowdrift white. All that is lovely in himself he loves, and in his witless ways he wants himself. But when he reached down to touch the beautiful person in the water, the face got blurry and quickly disappeared. Narcissus was saddened at the disappearance of the beautiful water person that he sat back on the bank and cried. A few minutes later, he looked into the pond, and there was the beautiful face looking back at him. This time there were sad tears streaming down that handsome face. Narcissus felt sorrow for the beautiful water person. He reached into the water to try and comfort him, but once again the water person disappeared. Each time Narcissus tried to touch the water, the beautiful person disappeared. Narcissus did not realize that there was a real person beneath the surface of the water and that he was actually seeing his own reflection. There was only Narcissus sitting on the bank, looking into the pond. As the sun set behind the trees, the youth could no longer see his reflection in the water. Calling out to the person he believed to live underneath the surface of the pond, Narcissus cried, "Wait! You are so beautiful! I love you!" All he heard in reply was the sound of Echo's voice, repeating his words from her hiding place among the trees. Narcissus had fallen deeply in love with the person he thought he saw in the water, just as Echo had fallen in love with him. Day after day, the youth sat near the pond, Narcissus staring at his reflection, becoming more and more distraught as he sat by the banks of the pond, staring mournfully at the water. One day, overcome with frustration, he called out, "My love, why do you ignore me? Do you not see that I am dying for you?" Hiding in the woods, Echo responded, "My love, why do you ignore me? Do you not see that I am dying for you?" As often as the love-lorn boy complained, "Alas, alas," her echoing voice returned, and as he struck his hands against his arms, she always answered with echoing sounds. And as he gazed upon the mirrored pool, he said at last, "All youth, beloved in vain, in vain, in vain." She returned his words, and when he breathed a sad farewell, farewell, Echo sighed too. Narcissus was so weary that he laid his head on the verdant grass to rest, and those bright eyes, which had so loved to gaze, entranced by their own master's beauty, closed. And now, although among the nether shades his sad spirit roams, he still loves to gaze at his own reflection in the Stygian wave. His naiad sisters mourned his death, and clipped their shining tresses and laid them on his corpse. And all the dryads mourned, and Echo wept openly. And they would have prepared a bier for him, but when they turned their eyes to where he had been, alas, he was not there. In the place where his body had lain, there grew a sweet, fragrant flower with a golden center, surrounded by white petals. And from that time on, it was called Narcissus. And here is where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales, many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey.